What's up, everyone? It's Chad Easterling with the Pack Attack, but today's episode is going to be about fantasy football. I am so ready for some fantasy football. I mean, it's been a rough couple of years with it lately. I've upped my fantasy leagues to 3 now, usually every year. I actually run 2 of them. I'm the commissioner of 2 of my fantasy leagues out of the 3. I've been on a drought, guys. I haven't won in a while. It's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's just, sometimes people get lucky out there. And sometimes you have bad years where you pick the wrong people. I think one of my things about it, though, is that you usually try to pick who did well last year. You always pick the people you're like, oh, well, that guy went off last year, and then I picked them, and then they don't do as good that year. Yeah.
You suck, you jackass. Why don't you shut the hell up?
So I'm trying to change my philosophy on, just because they did good one year doesn't mean they're going to do great again the next year. I mean, sometimes they will do good again the next year, but it doesn't always mean they are. But in this video, I'm going to choose my top player for each position in fantasy football. Again, these are my opinions. Doesn't mean that you're going to agree with who I've picked as the number 1 in each position. So don't get mad at me if you don't agree with it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. These are just the players I think are going to be in the top position this year. So starting off with probably the most important position in fantasy football is the running back position. Now, there's a lot of running backs that could possibly be the number 1 ranking running back this year, but when I really sit down and think about it, out of the top 3 that I chose, which were Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook, I just kind of thought about injuries and everything like that, and I honestly came up with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has just been a bulldozer, and he's had 10 plus touchdowns every year for the last 3 years. He's just a automatic home run when it comes to picking a running back. So honestly, I think he'll be the top ranking running back this year in fantasy football. Next on the list, we got wide receivers. Yes, I know what you're all thinking. Oh, he's a Green Bay fan. He's gonna pick Devonta Adams. Well, you're right. But I have a strong argument for why Devonta Adams is the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football, because he's basically and arguably the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. He had 18 touchdowns last season, which was the highest for any wide receiver in the league. Yes, you have Tyreek Hill. He's amazing. He's going to get those touchdowns from Pat Mahomes. And you also have Stephon Diggs, who broke out last year with Josh Allen. But I just think Devonta Adams is going to be solid again this year. Also hooking up with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, having an Aaron Rodgers who's just come back, he's wanting to prove himself again, maybe even be another MVP year. I definitely think it's going to be a great year for him. Yeah, I might have been a little biased on that, but I don't care. And moving right along, we have tight end. See, to me, tight end in fantasy football can make or break you, man. If you wait too long and get some, average tight end, they're really not going to do anything for you. I mean, it's one of the positions that you have to have in that lineup every week. Again, when it came down to tight ends, honestly, I did think about Robert Tonyan, but I don't know if he can actually be consistent and do that every year, and he's not actually at the top of my list. There's actually 3 others that are at the top of my list. The 3 I have at the top of my list are George Kittle, Darren Walker, and Travis Kelsey. It's honestly really hard to pick just one out of those top 3. I really want to pick all 3, but if I'm going to have to pick one, it's going to be Travis Kelsey. Based off the fact that, he's got one of the best quarterbacks in the game throwing to him. He's more likely to get more touchdowns because that is one of his favorite targets to go to. I believe Darren Walker is a beast, man. He is a beast. And then even George Kittle, man, he's a beast too. It could go either way. Again, like I said, all 3 of these are my top 1, really. But if I had to pick one, it's going to be Travis Kelsey. And we move on to my final category, because to me, kickers aren't really that big of a deal. You can pick a kicker and wing it every week with any kicker in the league, honestly. Unless you're my cousin that drafted 3 kickers in our draft last year and somehow won. I don't know how that happened. Not saying that kickers aren't important. They are important, but I feel like there's not really a need to rank them. So the top position I'm going to talk about is the quarterback position. And this is probably one of the hardest decisions, picking the top quarterback for this year. Of course, again, I want to be biased and pick Aaron Rodgers because he was MVP, threw 48 touchdowns last year. But again, when it comes to fantasy and points, I'm not going to pick Aaron Rodgers. I mean, who knows? Aaron Rodgers could be the top this year. I don't know. But I'm not going to be biased on this one. I am going to pick a top quarterback, and that's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I also could really see Josh Allen having an MVP type of season and a great fantasy season. So he also is on the list. And then actually, as my friend pointed out to me, I really think that Kyler Murray now could be one. You honestly just can't go wrong with a mobile quarterback in fantasy football. Unless you were me last year with Lamar Jackson. Where were you at, Lamar? Like I said, guys, I've been on a drought. I need a win. So yeah, that's my list. Those are my opinions on it this year. But I do want to know what you guys think. Please leave your comments down below and let me know who you think is going to be the top in each position this year. And as always, please keep tuning into my channel. I will have more videos coming out every week. I'm going to try to do at least maybe 2 or 3 each week, just depending on what's going on. Definitely one about the Packers, another about fantasy football, and then maybe a third about anything else going on in the NFL right now. And again, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so now. I really would appreciate it. Until next time, guys, go Pack Go.